In our last episode, we finally mass-produced a vaccine for the Scorched Plague using equipment we found at the Kanawha Nuka-Cola factory. After distributing the inoculation in the form of a Nuka-Cola beverage, the Overseer felt that it was finally time to try to unravel the mystery behind Vault 79. We learned exactly how secretive the construction of Vault 79 was before the bombs dropped during my video on Flavia Stabo. But even though we found the door to Vault 79 at that time, we never got inside the vault. The Overseer wants to find out exactly what's on the other side of that door. And to find out, she suggested we head to Vault-Tec University in Morgantown, her alma mater, her old stomping grounds. She told us that there was a wing of Vault-Tec University that even at that time was super secretive. Only government officials, military generals, and business bigwigs ventured into that side of the vault. She figured that if Vault-Tec had any records about what was really inside Vault 79, we could find it there. And so we head to the ruins of Vault-Tec University to meet up with the Overseer. We find her in the dean's office.
I know there's a restricted section of the university. You think the students never noticed who comes and goes?
It does not matter what you may have seen or heard before you graduated, Overseer. That is not my concern. Oh, I see one of your residents has arrived. Come here. We need to discuss this ridiculous request of yours. The Overseer mentioned there would be more people coming.
You're in charge here?
I was programmed to run this university in the event of the dean's absence. He is absent, therefore I am running it.
Did she tell you that we need to get into the restricted wing?
Assuming there even is a restricted section, and I am not verifying that, neither of you have Vault-Tec University credentials.
Oh, wait a minute. The Overseer graduated from here. She doesn't have access?
Faculty and staff determine who goes where in this university, not former students.
I might be the only human being connected to this place that's still alive. My authority doesn't override yours?
No, it does not. And for the record, I was the dissenting opinion on fast-tracking your Overseer assignment. You are not pushing your way through me.
Oh, ouch. Look, buddy, everyone's dead. You're not protecting anyone anymore.
The condition of the outside world is not my problem. I see neither of you are going to relent. Very well. There is a problem you can help me with. This university needs graduates, and while your Overseer has already been through the program, you are living and breathing enough to join this year's class.
This is ridiculous. Even if we had 4 years to waste, which we don't, the university is empty. There's no professors anymore.
Emergency protocols allow the Mr. Handy janitorial staff to run entrance straight through to the final exam. Their ability to run the vault simulation is experimental, but more than adequate for the task.
Why do you need a graduating class?
Producing quality graduates is the very foundation of my purpose. A purpose that has gone unfulfilled for far too long.
So how does this test work?
You will be given a scenario that you need to accomplish in the vault simulation area. The handies will play as the residents you need to oversee.
Fine. I'll complete this exam of yours.
Glad we agree. In this test scenario, your vault has divided into factions. You must resolve the conflict any way you see fit. Your chief of security will fill you in on the details. Good luck.
I'm not familiar with this test scenario. Professor Bott must have come up with it on his own.
Oh, great. He came up with an exam on the fly. No, we've got to pass it. Looks like we've got to find this security chief. He's likely in the training vault, built within Vault-Tec University. And to get there, we've got to fight our way through a bunch of robots. At last, we reach the training vault. Heading down the stairs, we find Security Chief Robinson waiting in the training vault overseer's office.
You're the new overseer? Heck of a boiling pot you're stepping into. Little tiff between the engineers and the med staff is ready to blow.
Fear not, noble security guard. Your overseer is here.
I don't quite know how to respond to that.
Vault dwellers arguing with each other? What else is new?
It's not like the usual bickering. Accusations of murder are being thrown around.
Give me the full situation report.
There was a reactor leak. Kellerman, head engineer's apprentice, rushed in to fix it. Poor kid got a full dose of rads.
An idiot got himself killed. Why is this my problem?
Because of what happened next.
That's awful.
That's not the worst of it. Dr. Loris, head of the medical team, refused to send in help. Quarantined the reactor area so nobody died trying to go in there. Head engineer Brass accused the doctor of murder. Then, a couple days later, people noticed that one of the doctor's assistants, Estella, was missing. Everyone thinks it's a revenge killing. An eye for an eye.
Was a body ever found?
No. There's no evidence, no weapon, not one speck of blood. I'm at a loss, Overseer. Need you to make sense of all this. Sorry I couldn't be of more help.
This has got headache written all over it.
The big problems usually do. Good luck, Overseer. I'll be here if you need me.
No task is too great for the overseer.
That's good to hear, Overseer. I'll be here if you need me.
Looks like we've got ourselves a good old-fashioned murder mystery. We find a number of vault suit-clad skeletons on the ground. There was a real-world tragedy that happened here, which I covered when we explored Vault-Tec University in a previous episode that you can watch here. But post-Wastelanders, things here have changed. Heading down the stairs, we can have a chat with the new inhabitants of the training vault. And inside the medical lab, we find Dr. Loris.
Ah, Overseer. I'm so glad you've stepped into this little mess of ours. I'm sure you'll resolve the matter swiftly.
Are you the only doctor in the vault?
Oh no, there's a full medical staff. They're bandying about somewhere, as usual.
I want to talk about your feud with head engineer Brass.
I don't have a feud with Brass. He has a feud with me. I'm only doing my job, Overseer, looking out for the health of the vault. And I'm sorry to say that, in my medical opinion, the chief engineer is suffering from paranoia and revenge fixation. We can't let that fester.
I heard you quarantined the reactor. An engineer died.
Oh, nasty business. But I'm not going to apologize for it. It had to be done. As doctors, we take an oath to do no harm. But sometimes, We have to choose between saving one life or saving several.
What are you suggesting we do?
Simple. You can authorize me to place the head engineer under medical supervision. A combination of chems and therapy will do the rest. There might be some protest, but I think our combined authority will keep that to a minimum.
No, that just sounds like brainwashing.
Some treatments can seem horrible at first, but it's the welfare of the patients and everyone around them that we must concern ourselves with. But it's your decision, of course. Let me know if you want to discuss it again later.
Now, we could pass a charisma check of 8 to convince Brass to come voluntarily, or we can go along with Loris's plan and say, fine. How do we make this happen?
Just take my diagnosis over to the security team and say that you agree with my recommendations. Once any unpleasantness is dealt with, I can guarantee you that the vault will be back to peace and quiet in no time.
I'll think about it.
Of course, it's your decision, Overseer. I'm only trying to help.
Uh-huh. Very accommodating, this Dr. Loris. So the good doctor wants us to give a misdiagnosis to the head of security. But you know what? We only have half the picture here. We need to find Brass to hear his side of the story. And we find him on floor 1 in the engineering workshop.
Overseer, huh? We'll see.
You got a problem with me?
Not yet.
No? Okay. Not a fan of conversation, huh?
No.
Oh, this guy's just a charmer. I'm here to talk about your feud with Dr. Loris.
Don't care what security says. Dr. Loris had no right to quarantine the reactor. Leaving Kellerman to die? Murder. That's all there is to it. I want justice, Overseer.
I heard Loris's assistant is missing.
Did they tell you how me and my crew scoured every inch of this vault looking for her? Yeah, that's right. Every loose access panel and every vent. You think I wanted anyone else to die? The only one here that cold-blooded is Dr. Loris. He proved that with Kellerman.
But is Dr. Loris cold-blooded? Or did he do it for the greater safety of the vault? We can pass a perception check of 4 to say, you said you scoured every inch of the vault. What about the quarantine area?
Couldn't, could we? Only Loris and his staff have access once an area is quarantined.
You want me to arrest Dr. Loris?
No. Half this vault thinks he did the right thing. You do anything to him now, that split will turn violent. I want him exposed. Prove to everyone that he's the bad gear in this vault's engine.
I'm not convinced Loris is wrong.
Then we're done here.
Now we could pass a charisma check of 8 to try to convince Loris that he did the wrong thing and to suffer the consequences. Or we could say, all right, what's your plan?
Loris put on a good show when he quarantined the reactor area. But what if more happened than folks remember? A few selective edits to the security recordings, and we can make sure everyone sees Loris for what he really is. Now, I can't just waltz into the security office, but you could, being the overseer and all.
Framing someone is beneath the office of the overseer.
You're out then? Fine. Hope your moral compass doesn't send us all careening off a cliff.
He's laying it on a little thick, but good on you for showing some integrity. There's a better way. We'll find it.
Or we can say, this is what leadership really is. Nothing but dirty work.
Maybe. But maybe you and me at least do right by Kellerman's memory. Bring me the holotape when you have it. I'll do the edits myself.
Or if we're not sure this is the route we want to take, we can say, I need to think about this.
Huh. Fine. But when you're ready to step up and be the overseer, you let me know.
Ooh, tough words from Engineer Brass. So at this point, we have 2 options. We can go with Dr. Loris and his false diagnosis plan to get Brass removed, or we can alter security footage to make it seem like Loris did something he didn't do. Either way, we have to go back up to the Overseer's office to make those choices. Starting with Brass, we can move into the Test Overseer's bedroom and access the Vault Security Terminal. Here we find two options. In the first, we can copy the security recording, copying contents Vault Reactor Incident to holotape. And then we can read Concerns. The faction divide in this vault continues to be the #1 concern. Head Engineer Brass and Dr. Loris each control a significant portion of the vault's staff. Their feud threatens to create revolt and panic. Cracking down seems unwise. Better to let the Overseer resolve matters. A show of leadership would not only calm the conflict, but might unite the vault under a single authority. Robinson clearly didn't know how to proceed. We've got to solve this matter. We can start by listening to what actually happened when Loris sealed the reactor.
Don't worry, Kellerman, we're getting you out of there.
Are you insane? The entire reactor is flooded with radiation. We need to quarantine this whole area.
We are not leaving him in there.
It's not about him anymore. He's already dead. Anyone we send to help is just going to die with him.
You don't know that.
You're emotional, not thinking rationally. Medical is locking this area down. That's all there is to it.
And that's where the holotape ends. To doctor this holotape, we need to head back down to engineering and hand it to lead engineer Brass. But it's here that I think I ran into a bug, because talking with Brass again, I found no other option to hand him the holotape. Now, perhaps I stumbled upon this bug because I was trying to explore all different avenues. Maybe one of the other dialogue options with one of the other robots locked me out of this option, and I wasn't able to complete it. However, if we were able to give him the holotape so he could doctor it, he doctors it by adding one final line. At the very end of the holotape, he makes it seem as if Dr. Loris ends by saying, "As if I'd waste perfectly good chems on some idiot from the engineering team." This would have given the impression that Dr. Loris really didn't want to quarantine the reactor for the safety of the vault. He just wanted to murder one of the members of the engineering team because he looked down upon them. But again, as I said, I couldn't get this holotape, so I couldn't choose that ending. So, heading back to the Overseer's office, we can talk with Security Chief Robinson.
Did you have a question, Overseer?
If you had to arrest Brass or Loris, who would it be?
It's not really my place to say, Overseer. But taking either of them in could spell trouble. They each have a loyal team to call on.
Dr. Loris wants Brass placed under psychiatric care. Here's the diagnosis.
Delusional paranoia? I suppose his preoccupation with Kellerman's death has strained him to the breaking point. You sure you want to do this, Overseer? Don't think Brass will come quietly. He'll have the engineers with him, too.
And even at this stage, we can back out. We can say, let me think about this some more. Or we can turn the tables and say no. In fact, place Loris under arrest instead for fabricating this diagnosis. But I could only choose one of these options, and so I chose, I'm sure, place Brass under arrest.
By your order, Overseer.
With that, Security Chief Robinson heads down to the bottom floor of the atrium, and he moves right into engineering.
All right, Brass. The Overseer and I are taking you in.
Is that right?
You going to make this easy for everyone?
Don't think I will. No.
Brass and his engineers turn hostile, and we have to defend ourselves.
Stop it!
Shame it had to end this way, but at least it's settled. Thank you for your help, Overseer. Vault's a better place because of you.
When I first did a vault simulation, it was a water emergency. Had to ration what little we had. Some people died. Riots had to be contained. We were lucky 76 never had to go through either of these cases. But preparing for the worst is what being an overseer is.
But that is only one of 3 ways to resolve this quest. The second way is to doctor the holotape, which ends the same way. After handing the holotape to Robinson, he confronts Dr. Loris, and then Loris and his medical bots turn hostile. If we confess to Robinson that either Dr. Loris gave a false diagnosis or Brass doctored the holotape, Robinson will go and arrest the robot that tried to deceive. But that encounter also ends with violence. The only way to implicate either Loris or Brass peacefully is to pass that 8 charisma check with either of the 2 robots. But all of those options are the wrong ones. There is a truth to what really happened here, and the key to this mystery is whatever lies within the quarantined area. It was Dr. Loris who sealed those doors, which means Dr. Loris must have a key. Heading back upstairs, we can talk with Dr. Loris.
How can I help?
I'd like the key to the reactor area.
I'm afraid I can't really comply with that request, Overseer. The reactor is under quarantine. The radiation could kill you.
I'm your overseer. I demand you give me the key.
No, I don't mean to be impertinent, but I can't in good conscience send you to certain death.
Fine. I'll find another way inside.
I'm sorry I couldn't help, but I think it would be best if you stayed away from there. We've already lost someone. Remember?
If this simulation is like the original ones, there's probably a key in his office we can grab. Or just pick the lock on the reactor door.
Thankfully, Dr. Loris is not really good at hiding things. We find his key to the reactor area lying on the floor in the southwestern corner of this lab. With the key in hand, we can simply go and unlock the door. Or we can have him give us a key by passing a charisma check of 4 to say, "You worry too much, Loris. Relax. I know what I'm doing."
Very well. As long as you take all the necessary precautions. Here.
And with that, he gives us the reactor key. And now we can head upstairs to the reactor area and use the reactor key to open the door to see what's really going on here. Heading inside, we scale some stairs until we arrive in the reactor area. Everything appears to be normal at first, until we reach the eastern side of the reactors. Here we find the wreckage of Estella, the good doctor's missing lab assistant, and on her body, Estella's holotape.
This is Estella, Dr. Loris's assistant. I snuck into the reactor to help Kellerman, but there's not enough time. The reactor is going to go critical. I'm dosing Kellerman with enough right away so he can finish fixing it. But the radiation is going to get us. At least the vault will be safe.
So Estella, Loris's assistant, and Kellerman, Brass's assistant, worked together to fix the reactor and sacrifice themselves to save the vault. It wasn't murder. This was all just a misunderstanding. Heading back upstairs, we can report what we've learned to Security Chief Robinson.
Did you have a question, Overseer?
I found Estella. She had this holotape on her.
You found her? Poor lass. I'm guessing she didn't make it. Let's take a listen then. So she wasn't murdered. She was trying to save Kellerman. 2 of them ended up saving us all. This is big news, Overseer. We take this to Brass and Loris, it could end the infighting for good.
Even at this point, we could decide to either side with Brass or Loris. But in my game, I wanted to do the right thing, and so I chose to say, gather them up. Let's put this ugliness behind us.
At once, Overseer. Everyone gather in the common area. We have an important announcement from the Overseer.
With that, Robinson heads down the stairs and into the vault atrium, where we find Loris and Brass waiting for us.
What's this about, Robinson? I have charts to update.
Maybe the Overseers finally decided to throw your murderous backside in jail.
That's enough! The Overseer has discovered what happened to Estella. This holotape proves she went into the quarantined reactor area on her own. She and Kellerman saved the vault.
They work together? Medical and engineering?
Oh, we've been fools, Brass. Bickering like two old men while the young ran off to solve our problems. It should have been us.
I actually agree with you there.
So that's it then? No more arguing? You'll both work under the Overseer's authority?
Yes.
Yeah. It's the right thing to do.
Good job. That's a solution any overseer should be proud for getting to. Everyone learns we have to work together.
And with that, it appears we've impressed our overseer. Looks like we're cut out for this job, and perhaps we can walk away from this with a shiny brand new degree. Heading all the way back to the Dean's office, we can report our success to Professor Bot.
Well, it appears you passed the test, barely exceeding my low expectations of you.
I found your simulation dull and uninspired. 0 stars.
Everyone is a critic. You are lucky. This university does not have a disciplinary program for being a smart ass.
Why so sarcastic? I thought you wanted graduates.
Your success is simply a reminder of the appalling standards I must now deal with. You are lucky. We grade on a curve. You are now an official graduate of Vault-Tec University, entitled to access to the restricted wing. Back down in the vault, simulation space is a maintenance area. It conceals a secondary room that I believe will have what you are looking for.
It was almost good to see you again, Professor Bot.
Yes, Overseer, I suppose it was. Congratulations on one of your residents passing the program. You must be proud.
Actually, I am. Afraid I don't have my old cap and gown to share with you. Hopefully, what we'll find in the restricted wing will be even better.
With that, we become a graduate of Vault-Tec University, and we now have access to the restricted wing, which I don't really get, to be perfectly honest. I mean, our overseer was already a graduate of Vault-Tec University. I'm not sure exactly what we did that gives us more right to the restricted wing than her. I won't argue our good fortune. I am, however, sadly out of time. We'll pick up right here where we leave off and explore the restricted wing of Vault-Tec University in my next episode. I publish new Fallout videos each and every week on my channel, so if you don't want to miss that episode, be sure to subscribe and to click that bell notification button. If you have already, but you still feel like you're missing out on YouTube notifications, consider following me on Twitter at Oxhorn. I update Twitter manually with every new piece of content that I publish. I have a shirt shop with completely unique designs that you can't find anywhere else. My designs come on shirts in a variety of men's, women's, and children's sizes, and in a wide array of colors. You can find them on other products as well, like smartphone cases, pillows, posters, mugs, stickers, prints, etc. So if interested, you can find a link to my shop in the description below, or you can click here. If you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming a patron on Patreon or a member here on YouTube. YouTube members and patrons on Patreon are becoming increasingly important as YouTube continues to make platform changes that make the future of YouTube monetization uncertain. So to all my YouTube members and my patrons on Patreon, you have my sincerest thanks. I couldn't do this without you. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with more brand new videos.